Alright, welcome back guys to this second part of this mini series. So we're gonna have to dive into JavaScript in this part. Yeah, we left with CSS. So now before we get started, we're gonna need to get most of the elements from HTML. So I'm gonna go ahead to HTML, and the first thing I'm gonna do is to bring all of these inputs by their IDs. So I could say const in name equals document dot get element by ID, and then the ID itself, which is in name, and that's it. This is how we get an element by ID. Now this is going to be a const variable. It's not going to vary, but what I want to bring is I'm going to get this input value. So this is going to be done with this method. Simply we say dot value, and that's it. Now I'm going to do this stuff. I'm going to copy all of these IDs and get back to here, and I'm going to say I'm going to do the exact same thing did with the name, and we're going to say document dot get element by ID, type nothing, then I'll say value. Right, now we're going to do them one by one. They all start with in, so no problem with that. And what I'm going to say, the first one is going to be, you know what, let's just paste them. Now that's okay for this one. Now the next thing is going to be this preview button. I'll get back to this image. So we're going to bring this button const preview thing, yeah, call it document dot get element by ID, which is the preview, and that's it. And it will have an event listener, so we're gonna say preview add event listener, and the event is gonna be a click event, and when this happens we'll call this function called prev, right? And that's it, except in this we should have T and L in uppercase. Okay, so we're gonna be creating this function now. Okay, now that we got the inputs values, we're gonna need to visualize them in the result box. So all of these inputs values should be present in this result box in here, okay, which is the card. So the way we do that, let me check first the name. So we're gonna bring these list items to here. So I'm gonna say the first one is gonna be name const name equals document dot get element by ID, and we type the name thing. Yeah. Now for the next elements, we're gonna do the exact same thing we did with those. So I'm gonna say I'm gonna copy all of them, and I'm gonna go back to here, paste them, and that's how we do that. And I'm gonna say const birth is equal to document dot get element by ID, and then paste them again, close that. Okay, the way we display these values in the output box is by using this popular method called inner HTML. So you just have to type name, for example, inner HTML equals to the in name, the input that's been in the name. So you just need to say in name. So I think we kind of need to check it out now. What do you say? What do you think? Yeah. So if I type this one and set preview, oops, doesn't work. There is a problem. I think the name here should be declared as a local variable, I think, and that's why it didn't work. Okay, all right, that's working. So we're gonna set the exact same thing for the next elements. So I'm just gonna go back to here, just like I did before, and paste them, and I'm gonna type inner HTML is equal to these values. So the first one is gonna be in birth. I'm gonna leave this one for now, and I'm gonna do this guy. This one is gonna have the in num. Now this one is gonna be a little bit different. It will have the values, the sum of the values from this and this. So it's gonna have kind of, you know, CS5, CS3, you know, computer science, for example. He's studying computer science at the third level, third year of computer science. So it's gonna be this way. So what I'm gonna say in field plus in year, and that's how it works. Let's check it out. So we have this one. Let's say he's from, you know, he's old, like 1995, and he's in the he's studying CS. He's in the second year, for example. Let's get some dummy number, subscription number. Let's get an image, see a preview, and that's it. I think if we do have this smaller number just like that, see a preview, yeah, we shouldn't have a huge number in here. Now the image doesn't appear because we haven't set anything related to the result box in the image, nor that function in here, so that's why it doesn't show up. But I think there is a problem, a little tiny problem in here. I just wanna see this one, CS02, CS03, that kind of thing. So we just need to add a simple string, and that's it. So you say preview now. I'm not talking it that way. So say 7/9/1992. Now CS is in the third year. Okay. We don't really need that. And that's it. So it is CS03. That's better. If you go back to our card and see, the only missing thing is actually the student image. So for this, we're gonna be creating a function that will load the image we selected from our local storage, and this would be the function. So for that, I'm gonna say function load image, and it will have an event. And now we want to display the image that we will bring from our local storage. We want to display it in this image box, which is the one that sits in here, yeah, in the result. First off, we'll get this img displayed element, and eventually we will change its source. I mean, we'll actually fill its source with the image URL we took from our machine. This source is going to be filled up with the source of our image, our local storage image. Okay, now let's first bring this image. So I'll say const, it's going to be img displayed, come on, displayed. It's going to be document get element by id img displayed, and then I think we better call it this way. It's going to be just image. Now its source is gonna be, the source attribute will be set this way. Say image dot src is gonna be set this way. We say url dot create object url, and then event dot target dot files, the current item, which is by 0, and that's it. So what's happening in this line is this event handler is going to hold a value retrieved from our local storage that has been uploaded as a URL, which is the required thing. So now if we check that, let's just go for it. There we go. This is our image. And if you click preview, it will stay there. Alright, so now you can see that everything works. Let's just try some real example. Let's say 7/9/1994 now. CS in second year. Upload an image. See a preview, and there we go. Alright, so now you can see that everything works fine and perfectly aligned. You can see. So the question now is gonna be, how can we convert this card into an image? This is, it's just a set of text, image, another text, divs and stuff like that. So it's not a real image. Now the way we convert this one, I think there are, a few ways to do it. One of them could be the canvas. I did a lot of search to find a clever way to make it. You found that it turns out to be hard to convert the card div into a canvas element, but fortunately I got something called HTML to canvas, which is a library, I believe, that can help us achieve the point. So I tried it, and I did all the best I can, and somehow I found myself in another trouble. I brought the library file, called the script tag, nothing's missing, everything's good. But whenever I run the code, my browser throws me an error that says it couldn't find the HTML to canvas file. And here we go, another kid is crying. So that's why I decided to work with the canvas itself, and using its methods and its own kind of toolkits to bring this ridiculous project into life. But you know what? It was just simple, and it was just simple and easy to use. I found it somehow playing with CSS, but in a different syntax, of course. This is gonna be using JavaScript, and that's it. Alright guys, I know how your blood is shaking at this moment, but honestly, I just wanted to share with you the library approach, because I think it might lead to a better result in terms of image quality and stuff like that. So forgive me if you disagree with me, and let's get into the canvas method. So basically, as I mentioned earlier, we're gonna make some kind of styling with the JavaScript. I don't know, this is how I found it. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the HTML, and instead of this result div, I think I'm gonna change it to a canvas tag so that it works fine with the next instructions that we're gonna be setting to the canvas. So this div, which ends up in here, is gonna be replaced with canvas. Okay, hit save, and now you can see that the whole div has disappeared. And this means it doesn't have any content. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go back to here, and I'm gonna type a const called canvas equals document get element by ID, and it's the result, and I'm gonna start doing some stuff. Now whenever we use canvas, we should specify the width and the height. if you have simple fixed values, you can just put them inside the canvas tag in HTML. Just right here, you can type, width, for example, let's say, 500, and it's note that this is in pixel. You don't have to type pixel, otherwise it probably won't work, but you just have to type the size. And the same thing for the height. You can just type 600, for example. Save. Let's take a look at that. You can see how it changed in here. That's one way to do it. Okay, but in our case we have floating values, or maybe variables if you want. I think the width is already set in CSS. Let me check first. Let's go to the result. Result, find it. There you go. It has a width of 70%, which is cool. But the height is gonna be depending on the width. In other words, it's gonna be proportional. So I'm gonna set the canvas height to canvas width divided by 1.616. So I'm gonna say canvas dot height is equal to canvas width, and that divided by 1.616. Now there is a reason why I chose this number, because I believe all cars, or maybe most of them, have this ratio between width and height. I'm talking about payment cars or ID cars or things like that again. But I think there's a mystery about that number. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Let's get back to the baby. Alright, if you want to use canvas methods and stuff like that, the first thing we need to do is declare a const, which is usually called ctx, and then take your canvas and give it this method called getContext2D by specifying the context, which is a two-dimensional plan or bidimensional. So I'm gonna type const, and I'm gonna set ctx to this one. It's gonna be canvas dot get context, and I'm gonna set it to 2D. Right now, canvas is so popular in online games and that kind of thing, so you can make a whole bunch of different stuff. If you want to make 3D games, you need to keep the context 3D. It's really cool. You can do a lot of cool stuff with the canvas. Now we're gonna need to set the canvas font, the font family, font size, font weight, and so on. And for that, we can just say ctx.font. It's kind of a shortcut in here. Well, I believe this is the only way they do it. You set the font size 20 pixel and the font family, which I'll set for Helvetica. Okay. Now the first thing in this card is gonna be the header. This guy. Okay. So let's start by setting the header background, and for that we're gonna need to choose the color and the size of the space to fill the starting point and the end point, and that's how canvas works. So I'm gonna say, first off, I'm gonna say ctx.fill style, which stands for the color, and I'm gonna say this one. Now basically we're gonna be using canvas built-in shapes methods, which stands for rectangle, triangle, circle, and there's a whole bunch of different shapes that comes with canvas, but we're gonna just stick with rectangle because that's all we need to use. So now right here in this guy, in this place, we're gonna have to set the header section. It's gonna be a kind of 30% to the whole height, and it's gonna be blue, this color. Okay, so to do that, we say ctx.rect, and I'll set the x position, 0, and the Y position, which is 0, 0 again. The width of this canvas, the width of this shape, which is 300 pixel, and finally the height, which will be 56 pixel. Now if we save and take a look at that, it doesn't show up because this whole thing should be inside this function. Now we just set up the width and the height and the position of the rectangle, but we haven't filled it yet. So this is the color we're gonna be using. To fill in a rectangle, we need to use this method called cdx fill. Hit save, preview, and that's it. Now you can see it. It's really cool. It's really working. Now the next steps are gonna be just as simple as this one. Now we're gonna type some text in the canvas. Let's just first change the text color. So we're gonna say cdx.fill style. It's gonna be now white. Alright, now we add the text using fill text method. So we say cdx.fill text, and we can say campus card. Okay, and we should specify the location of this one. It's gonna be 10 pixels from left and 25 pixels from the top. Okay, save. That's it. Or you can just, you can just give it, bring it by its tag name and just place it in here. Okay. Now next thing is gonna be the student level, or whatever you call it. For this, I'm gonna give it a smaller font size, and I'm gonna change the font family as well. So I'm gonna say cdx.font. It's gonna be 16 pixel and Arial. And we'll just do the same stuff. So cdx.fill style. It's gonna be under graduate. Hey. Okay. And again, the location, 15 pixels from left and 45 pixels from the top. Hit save. That's better. Where is it? There's a problem. That's okay. I said fill style. It's fill text. Okay. There we go. Okay, so now the next thing is going to be the logo. The logo is going to be located in this right corner on the top in here, and I think the way we do it with canvas is by using this method, I think, called drawImage. So you just need to say cdx.drawImage, and you just give it the source. But in our case, we're going to say the logo, which I believe we haven't declared, we haven't brought from the HTML. So I'll type this const logo document dot get element. Oh man, logo. But here we're gonna set the source, which we just set as a logo, and I'm gonna type the width and the height and the position or the location of this one. It's gonna be 230 pixels from the left and 3 pixels from top. It's gonna have a width and a height of 50 pixels. Now if we hit save, see preview, that's it. Next up, the content part. So we're gonna leave this. We're gonna leave the rest of the canvas background to white, and we're gonna need to insert the user photo and data. So we're gonna start with the student informations, and for that we're gonna set the text color to black. So I'm gonna change the color now. ctx.fill style, it's gonna be now the black. Okay, then we'll use again the fill text, but this time we're gonna use variables. I mean the ones we made some time ago, and I'm talking about these. If you wanna display the first one, which is the name, we need to say ctx.fill text, just like earlier, and we'll say name.inner HTML, and set the position to 110 from left and 90 pixels from the top. If we save it, and let's just type this one, preview, there we go, this is our name. The second one is gonna be sticked beneath it by 25 pixel. It's kind of 10 pixel of margin top. So I'll say ctx.fill text, and you know, we can save some time doing this thing. We can just paste it twice, and I'm gonna go back to here and this one. I'm gonna take these ones just like that, and remember what I did in the first part, and that's how we do it. Now let's take the first one, and I'm gonna set the position now to 110. All of them are gonna be 110 pixels from left, and this one is gonna be a bit more spaced from the top. This one will have the same thing, 110, and it's gonna be, let's just go back to this guy, this one. This one in here, the fill text, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just copy these elements and paste them in here. Okay. Hey, what is that? There we go. Okay, that's how it works. And the first one will have a position of 110 from left and 115 from top. Same this one, and this one is gonna have 110 from the left. They're gonna have some different values from the top. The second one will have a 140, and the last one will have a 165 pixel from top. Now if we save that and take a look, 1994, say CS, it's in the second year, upload an image, which won't show up in here, and you see this is how it works. Okay, that's better. Now we're gonna need to style this one with the last the last item, which stands for the subscription number. I'm gonna go back to here and copy this one, and I'm gonna paste it in here. So I'll say this guy, it's gonna be pasted in here, and it's gonna be plus concatenated. It's gonna be concatenated to that one in here. Okay, and we'll have a space, I think. Let's take a look now. Okay, 1992 CS2. Okay, see a preview. Well, that's better now. I think I made a mistake in here. This one should be concatenated with the last thing. That's it. Alright, let's see. Preview. That's it. Okay, that's okay. No problem with that. And finally, we'll need to draw an image again to attach the user image to the cart. Okay? So I'm gonna do the exact same thing we did in here with this image, draw image. Okay, with this loadImage function, I'm gonna copy that and paste it in here. And what I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say cdx draw image, and we'll give it this image, and it's gonna be located 10 pixels from left, 65 for Y. It's gonna have a width of 80 pixel and a height of 105 pixel. Okay, let's check it out. 791993 CS to upload an image. Take this one, preview, and that's it. That's quite decent, quite the thing. Okay, so let's refresh the page. Alright, we can now download our card somehow the old way, but we can make it a bit more user-friendly app by adding a download button. Okay, so first off, let's get that button. So I'm gonna go back to here and I'm gonna get this download button in here. So I'm gonna say const down also document dot get element by ID, which is the down. You'll have an event listener, down dot event listener, which is the click, and whenever a click happens, we'll render this function. Okay, which says, okay, in this function we need to get the canvas because it was set locally in the previous function, I think. Yeah, it's set in here inside this one. So I'm gonna need to copy it again, and I'm gonna paste it in here. So here we'll use the method called toData_URL. I mean, if you want to convert the canvas content to an image, you're gonna have to use this method called toData_URL. So the canvas content is gonna be converted to a data URL. And this thing is actually a string that represent the actual content in the canvas. So now if we set a thing, just like, you know, let's say const canvas content equals to canvas dot to data URL. And then if I console log it, say canvas content, if I just console log this one, Yeah, let's try something here, just like example, say CS to get an image, set a preview, and look at this now. Now if I hit, or just go back to here in the console. Now if I hit download, you can find here a huge link that represents the canvas content URL. Now if I copy all of that, open up in a new window, paste it in here, hit enter, you're gonna see this is your image. Okay, it doesn't show up doesn't show in here because we set the background to transparent. We haven't set the background of the second part of the card, and that's why it doesn't appear in here. Now I'm gonna be covering just the Chrome support, but if you want to work with any other browser, you can find their documentation. So in Chrome, we're gonna need to create an anchor tag. So let's delete that. I mean, in order to enable the automatic download button, this guy, we're gonna be using an anchor tag. So we'll say const a equals document dot create element, which is the anchor tag, then append it to the body, document dot body dot append child, which is the A, and then fill its href with the data URI, which we talked about when we first started this function. So you just say a dot href equals to canvas dot to data URL, which I believe we just set in here. So we can just canvas content, or we just set a.href to canvas content. Okay, hence. So let's get rid of that, and then we'll set the name of the image. So doing that, a.download equals to scored.png. Okay, and then we say a.click, and this means this is gonna be clicked with JavaScript. I mean, it's gonna be virtually clicked with JavaScript, which will enable the automatic download feature. And finally, we need to remove this anchor tag after the download. So just say document dot body dot remove child, which is the A1. Now let's hit save. Let's take a preview, download. It doesn't work. What's wrong with that? Yeah, create element. Yeah, you're right. Create element. Now, take a preview, download, and that's it. Okay, let's take a real example. Say this one. And say CS 3. This guy, preview, download, and we got it. Finally. Alright, that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. I kind of felt exhausted about it. I think you should give it some improvements, you know, kind of the styles, the background, and I think the image doesn't have the arcs. It doesn't have the rounded corners. And I think you can make that using cdx.org, I think. Alright, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.